Hey everyone. So I'm going to do a really quick reading for today because I have to go to work in like 20 minutes. But let's see, what kind of reading do I want to do? Let's do a hard truth reading. Okay, so what do we need to hear that like we just been straight up avoiding? Okay, so surprise, surprise, the Golden Art Nouveau deck by Julia Massaquia. Okay. So let's see what we get. But before we do that, let's do our sound cleansing. So let's do that. Okay. All right. And let's call upon our ancestors, our angels, our spirit guides, whoever it is that makes you feel divinely protected. Let's see, what is the hard truth that we need to hear that we've been avoiding? Let's see. What is it? Three of Swords. Okay. Give me a second. All right. Three Swords. Okay. We keep hurting our damn feelings. We keep hurting our damn feelings. If you continue to ruminate about the situation, the memory, the pain, or the heartbreak, okay, how are you supposed to move forward? Right? It's like replaying your favorite sad movie and hoping for a different outcome when you know how it ends. It's already in the past. You know how it ended because that's why we're replaying that negative highlight reel. Okay. So, the hard truth, stop hurting your own feelings. Stop playing it over and over and over again. So there's a thought stopping technique that when we're starting to ruminate, if you've been like, if you've been thinking about the same situation for rule of thumb is like more than 2 to 3 minutes, what you want to do is you want to like consciously like imagine a giant stop sign in your head and think about anything else that's positive, that brings you joy, that has a more like solution focused perspective. So the hard truth here is someone did you dirty, right? Someone did you dirty. Um, you might have been the person who broke your own heart because of maybe a little bit of that self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So when it comes to anxiety, if you are constantly worrying about the person leaving you because you're clingy, or you're constantly worrying about your partner like cheating on you, and you're kind of like beating that horse over and over again to death unintentionally because we are engaged in this preoccupation of preventing it, that we unintentionally like bring about certain circumstances, right? And by no means am I justifying certain behaviors, but oftentimes it's kind of like the attachment style perspective. So the more you chase, depending on the person, the more they're going to pull away, right? So if you are preoccupied about the heartbreak, again, whatever it was, could be a friend that went behind your back. It was like, talking about you. It could be a family member that was supposed to invest something for you and they ended up spending it on someone else's college, whatever, right? The more we think about the situation, the more we get stuck, okay? So I want you to think about the swords that are in the heart as thinking patterns, or like thinking tracks. if you will. So you know like how sometimes like you have like nine different thought streams. These are like thought streams, okay? So when you're thinking about that betrayal, right? Or you're thinking about Uncle Johnny who stole your birthday money, or you're thinking about the class that you failed, right? You're unintentionally keeping your heart stuck there because there's nothing else that your brain is focusing on. So we have this mechanism in our brain that's called the reticular activating system, and it acts as a kind of like a mesh for what things pass through there. So if you're constantly focusing on the heartbreak, your brain is going to assume that that's what's important to you rather than the healing part, right? So, hard truth, just try your best to practice that thought stopping technique, right? Imagine the giant mental stop sign to be like, wait, nope, this isn't doing me any favors, okay? Let's get a little bit more clarity, okay? Gotta stop hurting our dang feelings, man. Okay. The Six of Swords. The Six of Swords. Okay, cool. A lot of thinking cards today. Okay. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. So, if we're looking at the energy and the symbolism in the card, you're sailing into smoother waters. Okay. So, with the Three of Swords, so we kind of analyzed the symbolism already for this one, so I'm not going to get into it. But for this card, you were like in the eye of the storm, if you will. So when we think about racing thoughts, it's kind of almost like a mental storm where we just have uncontrollable racing thoughts, right? So this is basically saying that you're sailing into smoother waters. Things are going to be a little bit more calmer. You're going to have a little bit more of a sense of balance when it comes to your thoughts, okay? But this also doesn't just happen like by magic, right? Like you got to practice the techniques. You have to get the thoughts out, whether that's by journaling, recording yourself on a voice memo, right? Playing it back and deleting it and being like, all right, I did my verbalization. I got it out of my head. I'm gonna delete it consciously, just like letting it go. And this card also has to do with like accepting help. So I'm biased. So like as a therapist, I'm gonna assume that this is like go to therapy, right? So if you want to sail into smoother waters and you haven't quite figured out what the process is to get there, there's people who can help you strategically and pragmatically break things down so that you can position yourself in a better way to not let your thoughts get ahead of you, right? So with the 6-2, I want you to think about like leaving behind situations that don't serve you. So when we talk about like the addictions field, one of the key components for triggers is people, places, and things, right? So in order to stop hurting your damn feelings, you gotta like leave the people alone, right? Or you gotta leave the situations alone or the thoughts alone. Or again, when it comes to environments, if an environment is no longer nurturing you, you could tell. You can just tell, right? You kind of get the sense of like feeling unwelcomed or unwanted. And again, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, right? Like after you've verbalized your needs and like what you need to feel included, right? So if you want to stop hurting your feelings and you want to get to a better place, right? We're going to have that hard conversation with ourselves about, okay, like, what does my support system look like? Am I surrounded by people that are going to hold me accountable and actually tell me what's in my best interest, right? Let's get another card for clarity. Let's get one more. How much time do I got? All right, I got a little bit of time, y'all. I got a little bit of time. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, I'm not mad at it. We got the Six of Wands, okay? So once again, we're going to be reading the energy and the symbolism in the card. Okay, so when I think about the Six of Wands, I think about being recognized for your hard work, okay? So when we think about what's been hurting our feelings, okay? One thing that comes to mind when we pull the Six of Wands is that you're going to be recognized, right? You're going to be recognized for your effort. You're going to be recognized for putting in the work. Okay. So remember, this is a this is a hard truth reading, right? So if you want to stop hurting your damn feelings, accept the help, okay? Whoever it is, whether it's a mentor, a counselor, therapist, friend, someone who has lived experience, who has been through these types of situations before, who maybe suffers from anxiety and has the techniques that work. And you actually have to do the techniques, right? You're going to have a successful time. You're going to have a successful time when it comes to stopping the rumination, stopping the thought process. Okay. So, one thing that I also like to take into consideration, like with the horse is white, which I think about like purity, right? So you have good intentions when it comes to working on these behavioral patterns and thinking patterns that are keeping us stuck. Okay. So this is a very positive card. So, I mean, yeah, like did we like not want to get read to filth by the cards? Yeah, but at the end of the day, right, keep in mind that you gotta recognize that something's a problem before we can address it. If you don't know the tools to manage it, get the help, okay? And then when you put in the work and you have the support systems, and again, right, the support systems have to actually want what's in your best interest, you're going to be successful, okay? So overall, very positive reading, very positive reading. And then I'm trying to think something else that came to mind. I had it and it was gone. Hold up. Wait. Nope. Okay, it's gone. Anyway. But I know it was a little bit of a rushed reading for today, but I just want to make sure that I am consistent because I try to do this every single day. But just a quick synopsis one more time, right? Hard truth, stop thinking about it. Whatever it is, stop thinking about it. Allow yourself to pause and reframe. Think about things that are more positive, okay? If that's hard, you don't know how quite to start that or whatever it is, get an accountability buddy. Look for someone who can hold you accountable, right? If you want to put in the work, if you want to change, that doesn't happen just by sheer willpower, right? Like, in order to form those habits and engage in those behaviors, we have to start somewhere small. And then when you put the work in, you recognize that something's actually a problem, you're going to be successful. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. As always, thank you so, so much for your time. Again, you didn't have to stop by here. And if you stopped by here, I appreciate you. If you stay till the end, I also appreciate you. I never really wanted to be the person to say subscribe, but if you like what I have to say, go for it. There's never any pressure. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel very grateful. I feel very grateful if you stop by and you even like give a crap about who I am, right? Because I'm just a random guy. But besides that, I hope you have a amazing day or night whenever you're watching this. As always, you are divinely protected, and I hope you have a amazing time. Very grateful for you, and I'll see you next time.